What's up, everyone? We're back with another deck profile, and today we're going to be doing Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers being an OG archetype, right? One of the first ever. Very control heavy. Lock from the grave, right? You know, your opponent's playing around with the grave. Hey, stop playing around with that grave. Stop playing with the grave. Necrovalley's here, right? I'm a sucker for archetypes with really cool art styles, so I love the way the Gravekeepers look. I think the art styles are really cool. I like the whole Egyptian thing. We also don't special summon very much in this deck, so you can play things like Summon Limit. You can play things like Goes in Match as another floodgate if you wanted to, because we rely on darks. And that's basically it. So we'll jump right into it. We start off with, of course, Commandant. Right, Commandant is our searcher for the field spell. We play 3 of, have to, right? Discard to the graveyard, search for Necrovalley, simple as that. Next, Spiritualist. This is our polymerization of the deck. We get to summon her, then activate her effect to use Gravekeepers that we control, whether it be on the field or hand, to fusion summon for our boss monster. Only problem is that you have to have Necrovalley on the field in order to use that effect. This deck is very reliant on this field spell, very reliant on it, which is why we have to see this card turn 1, have to. Next, we play Headman. Headman is our monster reborn in the deck. When she's summoned, special or normal, we get to target level 4 lower Gravekeeper, and then special summon it to the field. So I like to summon this, bring this from the grave, activate effect, use them both to fusion summon. So that's a Headman. I play 3 of her. Next, Recruiter. Recruiter used to be slower, but now we have a link for Recruiter. Recruiter says when he's sent from field to grave, we get to search for a Gravekeeper with 1500 less defense. And Headman, Spiritualist, and Commandant both qualify for that search. So all these 3, because they rely on defense, not attack. So Recruiter can search out these 3. And now we have, you'll see in the extra deck, we have a link, or a link 1 that we can use called Magistus Artemis that we can use to get him to the grave immediately if we just really have to see Necrovalley really bad. We get Ash on our terraforming, and we need it really bad. Well, Recruiter is there for that reason, just in case you really have to have it. Next, the last monster we play is Spy. Spy is slow, I know that, but Spy can be helpful in a pinch when you bricked, or if you need discard fodder for Super Poly, which we do play 3 of here, and we also can use them as Spiritualist fodder too to fusion summon. So if I have this, I normal summon this is in my hand, I can easily use Spy and keep other cards like Headman or Recruiter if I want to save him for later on. So that's why I personally like Spy. Plus with a 2k booty, if you break, you got a T-step pass. Spy turns into 3000 with our field and trap. So that's why I like to play Spy. So off onto our spells. Of course, the heart and soul of the deck is going to be our Necrovalley, right? What's Gravekeepers without Necrovalley? Basically, everything can come in the grave, nothing can come out. You can't banish from the grave, you can't shuffle into the deck from grave, you can't special summon from grave. It's not happening. You play Terraforming, of course, extra Necrovalley, and then another Necrovalley. We play Throne. Throne has 2 effects. You get to, number 1, you get to search for any Gravekeeper monster, so you can once again get access to your Commandant. Get access to your Commandant. So that way you can. Where's he at? There he is. That way we can search for our Necrovalley, right? Or we can go for Headman, special to the grave, or we can go for a Spiritualist to fusion summon, right? So it's any one of them. And Throne has another effect that you get to normal summon twice. I'm not too crazy about that effect. I don't think I've ever used it, but it's there if need be. And if you really need something, hey, it's there. Just in case you want to link into something, right? We do play a Boro Sword, so if you are looking for a game and you want to get buys on the field, Throne is there for that. We play Crackdown in this deck, so we can snatch up your opponent's monsters and we can use them as material for the. Anyways, triple tribute. Heroic Tribute is so good if you get to resolve this. So satisfying. Turn 1. If Necro Valley is on the field, we get both players discard all monsters from their hand to the grave. Ouch, right? That hurts. It hurts so bad for our opponent. And it can hurt us a little bit, barely, but we don't play too many monsters, and plus we have the luxury of using up our monsters before we activate Road Tribute. So turn 1, very satisfying. That can basically make your opponent enter the scoop phase. Next we play Hidden Temples. Hidden Temples is our lock for the deck. Hidden Temples says that as long as we control Necro Valley and a Gravekeepers monster, no one can special summon anything besides Gravekeepers. And unless you're playing the mirror, it's not happening. Like, you're not gonna, like, your opponent can't play basically, which is good. I don't want you to play. I just want to win by not letting you play, right? That's how we do it, right? Next we play Super Poly, right? We main deck Super Poly for 2 reasons. Number 1, we have the extra deck space, and 2, if we have to, we can use it for our monsters, right? So we have polymerization. So if somehow I have, I don't know, if I have a recruiter and a headman, right? I could, if I really want to, Super Poly them away, and then yeah, that's basically it. So it's good. Next, draw power. We don't have much draw power here, so we need to get what we can. And Extravagance is great for the deck because we're not relying on the extra deck. We have the space to use pot, so definitely worth the +1 on the Extrav. Yeah, what more can I say? Draw 2 and banish 6. Definitely worth it for this deck. And the last card I play is Right Hand. Right Hand says it's mandatory effect that when your opponent activates a spell card, as long as you control a spellcaster, and Gravekeepers are all spellcasters, it negates the activation of your opponent's first spell. So you don't get to choose. You can't choose which one you want to negate. It's the first one they activate, gets negated and destroyed. And it's good because it makes your opponent, if your opponent only has 1 spell in their hand, they're not using it. So you basically stop them from using spells per turn. And you profited as soon as they, as soon as you get to use it twice. So if your opponent, had to burn through a spell just to actually use a spell, and the next turn it's still here, they got to burn through another spell to use a spell. Like that's definitely a huge positive for you. So I love playing it at least at 1. And we have Magician's Left Hand, the side deck, just in case we have trap heavy decks. So yeah, that's Right Hand. Let's go on to the traps now. For the traps, we play 1 Metaverse, right? We need to see Necro Valley really bad. Ideally, you want to see it before that, but it is what it is. We can always set Spy, activate Metaverse on their standby phase, and then next thing you know, we have our Necro Valley up. So hopefully that disrupts our opponent enough where they can't really do much on their play. Next we play Crackdown. What kind of control deck could we be if we don't have Crackdown, right? Snatch our opponent's monsters up, and we can use them as material for our link and prevent them from being able to attack us or use their effects. So Crackdown is definitely good. Next we play Temples. Necro Valley Temple, what it does is it decreases, as long as you have Necro Valley in the field, it decreases your opponent's attack and defense by 500. So if Necro Valley gives us 500 attack and defense, and Temple makes them minus 500 attack and defense, we kind of get 1k for all of our monsters. So they get nice, pretty big. So this is 2500, this is 2600 attack, and our boss monster gets even bigger. He gets like 38, which is pretty nice. Very, very beefy boy. And also, Temple has the effect that during the main phase, if we don't have a field spell, we get to activate a field spell from our hand or our graveyard. So that's every main phase, once per turn. So it's great to keep, gaining back your Valley. So it forces your opponent to have to pop this, deal with this. And if they do pop it, if this is destroyed, sent to the graveyard, we get to set any Necro Valley card from our deck onto the field. So we can now set a Necro Valley for next turn, or set one of our spells and traps. And yeah, definitely a great card. At least one of. You know, I think it's okay to run 2 if you wanted to. It's searchable. It's slowly searchable, but I think 1 or 2 is good. I play 1 just because the deck space is a little tight for me. Next, we play Tombs. Tombs is our Omni Negate, our counter trap for the deck. As long as we control a Necro Valley and a Gravekeeper monster, you know, we get to negate a spell, trap, or monster effect. And yeah, so it's our counter trap. And that's it for the main deck. We'll get on to the extra now. For our boss monster of the deck, we have Supernaturalist. Supernaturalist is great because it protects our Necro Valley. Necro Valley can't be destroyed by card effects, and he can't be destroyed by card effects as long as he's there. So it's great. Definitely a good card. He looks like he's only 2k, but he gets 100 attack and defense based on the number of levels used for his material for fusion summon. So he typically becomes 32 or 33 by default with Necro Valley, because remember, Necro Valley gives him 500, and if we have Tombs out on the field, or Temple on the field, he becomes 3800 or 3700. So he gets huge, right? He gets really big, which is awesome. Can't be destroyed by card effects, protects Necro Valley, and his last effect is that you get to add, during the end phase, you get to add a Necro Valley card from deck to hand at the end of the turn. But you have to activate that. It doesn't activate by itself. You have to actually activate this during the main phase. So main phase, you activate it, and then during the end phase, it resolves. So your opponent can only Ash or Solemn this upon activation. So if they don't do it when you first activate this, end phase is too late. There's nothing that can be done. It goes through, it resolves. At the same time, you gotta remember to activate this during the main phase. It's an ignition effect. So FYI. Next, we play a bunch of Super Poly targets. Since we do main deck Super Poly, we play Double Swamp, Triple Starting Venom, and we play Predator Plant, double. We load up a lot of them because we play, you know, Extrav, and Extrav, you know, kind of gets rid of a lot of the cards on extra decks. So we need to, you know, double up as much as we can of those. Next, we play Artemis, 3 of, because of Extrav. My poor quality proxies. I know I'm working on getting them. I just, you know, haven't, you know, had the opportunity to get some good deals on them. I'm really cheap, so I haven't picked up any Artemises yet, but I will be hopefully soon. And this is our link 1 for Recruiter. Recruiter qualifies a level 4 lower spellcaster, so we get to normal Recruiter, link them away, and search for our Gravekeeper monsters. And lastly, we play the Unicorn and the War Sword. War Sword, you know, got reprint, which is awesome. Which means, I mean, the art's so ugly. Ugh, man, that fugly art, man. But it is what it is. I'm a budget player, you know, so basically a budget player. I don't play next to me with droplets or lightning storm, but whatever. Anyways, a Unicorn and a War Sword. They're both cards from material. You know, we have Crackdown. We can instantly snatch up our opponent's monsters. Go into Unicorn, or if we have enough monsters, go into War Sword for game. And that's basically it. So that's the end of the deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, have fun playing it. I think it's a great deck to play. Very cool deck to have, and simple. And it's pretty budget. You know, besides Extrav, other than that though, the deck is very, very budget. So you can pick it up easy to play. You know, and lock opponents from the grave. And that's it, everyone. Peace.